the real reason Taylor Swift couldn't attend the AMAs, and Hugh Jackman's divorce, the betrayal, etc.
After 30 years of what appeared to be a picture-perfect Hollywood marriage, Deborah Lee Furness finally opens up about her shocking split from Hugh Jackman. Behind the scenes were betrayal, clashing values, and a fortune at stake, with no prenup in place. What truly ended their long union? And were the emotional affair rumors true? Discover the untold truth now.
But first, let's go through this breaking news, this update. Deborah Lee Furness, they were together 30 years. They have 2 children together. Now, again, I'm not here to judge. It's not my business. I've been divorced. Many of you have been divorced. Many have been unfaithful, sadly. It happens. Relationships break down. I'm not here to judge that. But I do have some commentary I want to add. So Deborah Lee Furness now is revealing what we all sort of assumed, a betrayal, taking a jab at Hugh Jackman as she breaks the silence. She took a swipe at her estranged husband, Hugh Jackman, amid the flurry of rumors that he cheated on her with current girlfriend Sutton Foster, who he's now was on Broadway with. Following her decision to officially file for divorce from the Deadpool Wolverine star, announcing their separation, she addressed her heartbreak in an exclusive statement in this Daily Mail article. My heart and compassion goes out to everyone who has traversed the traumatic journey of betrayal. It's a profound wound that cuts deep. However, I believe in a higher power and that the God, universe, whatever you relate to as your guidance, is always working for us. This belief has helped me navigate the breakdown of an almost 3-decade marriage. I've gained much knowledge and wisdom through this experience. Even when we are presented with apparent adversity, it is leading us to our greatest good, our true purpose. It can hurt, but in the long run, returning to yourself and living within your own integrity, another little swipe, values and boundaries, another little swipe, is liberation and freedom.
For 3 decades, Hugh Jackman and Deborah Lee Furness seemed like the gold standard of Hollywood romance. Their love story began in 1995 on the set of an Australian television show, where a young, ambitious Jackman met the established and respected actress. Though Furness was 13 years his senior, a detail that initially raised eyebrows, their bond only deepened with time. The age gap, far from a source of friction, came to symbolize a unique strength in their relationship. Throughout their marriage, the couple projected a near-perfect image. Red carpet appearances, heartfelt interviews, and social media tributes painted a portrait of unwavering devotion and mutual respect. Jackman, famous for blockbuster roles in The Greatest Showman and the Wolverine series, frequently referred to Furness as his rock, his biggest supporter, and the love of his life. In return, Furness spoke glowingly of Jackman's humility and relentless dedication, highlighting what many believe to be an unshakable foundation built on love and shared values. Fans were captivated, viewing their marriage as proof that love could endure under the harsh glare of fame. But that illusion shattered with the announcement of their divorce, news that ricocheted across headlines and social media, leaving the public stunned. How could a couple who embodied #relationship goals for 30 years suddenly call it quits? It just didn't make sense, at least on the surface. Then came Furness's cryptic and emotional statement. She didn't offer the usual explanation of irreconcilable differences. Instead, she used weightier terms: betrayal, boundaries, liberation, freedom. These words weren't just expressions of heartbreak. They hinted at deeper, more personal conflicts behind the scenes. Fans and insiders alike began to wonder, had the cracks been there all along, hidden behind polished interviews and red carpet smiles? The financial side of the split only added to the drama. Jackman, whose career has brought in millions from films, theater, and endorsements, reportedly never signed a prenuptial agreement with Furness. While romantic at the time, this decision is now complicating the divorce. Sources close to the couple suggest that the absence of legal safeguards has turned the separation into a prolonged negotiation, with disputes over assets threatening to overshadow the emotional aspects of the breakup. But even amid the financial wrangling, one question looms largest: what really happened behind closed doors? Furness's comments about betrayal and boundaries have fueled speculation of emotional infidelity or deeper discord that was kept out of the public eye. As more details continue to surface, what once looked like a Hollywood fairy tale may turn out to be a far more complicated and human story. Stay tuned. The unraveling has only just begun.
Interesting thing. Like I feel like she's being incredibly respectful, given clearly a betrayal. The betrayal could just be we were going to be together forever, which is what the narrative has been out there. It doesn't necessarily prove that they were cheating. Many insiders still believe there. But as here was a quote: when they got married, they thought it would be forever. Who doesn't? At the time, neither of them expected Hugh's career to get as enormous as it is. Because there was no prenup, he made a fortune during the marriage. Divorce is not going to be cut and dry. This was reporting from a while ago. It has finally been resolved. But there was a lot of that where they thought it was going to be messy. Things were going to need to be worked out. There was huge amounts of money involved. And without a prenup and her being there throughout pretty much the whole relationship, she gets to get her share. They both wanted to make this as easy as possible. But after the 3 decades and one partner becoming a massive A-list star, it's not always quite that easy.
For years, Hugh Jackman and Deborah Lee Furness appeared to be Hollywood's most enduring love story. Their marriage, which began in 1996, was often hailed as a rare example of stability in the unpredictable world of fame. But recent headlines have turned that fairy tale upside down, revealing whispers of emotional betrayal, a tangled financial web, and the unraveling of a decades-long bond that once seemed unbreakable. The heart of the speculation is Jackman's relationship with Broadway star Sutton Foster. The two first crossed paths professionally around 2020, and by 2022, they were starring opposite each other in the much-anticipated revival of The Music Man. The show required months of rehearsals and nightly performances, creating countless hours of close collaboration. Their onstage chemistry was undeniable. Critics and audiences alike praised the energy they brought to their roles. But it wasn't just the theater, where sparks allegedly flew. Behind the scenes, rumors began swirling about a growing emotional connection between Jackman and Foster. According to insiders, Deborah Lee Furness started to feel increasingly sidelined during this period. While no evidence of a physical affair has surfaced, suspicions of an emotional affair, a deep, intimate bond that goes beyond friendship, began to take root. Those close to the couple say Furness believed Jackman had begun confiding in Foster in ways that once were reserved for her. Emotional intimacy like that, especially in long-term relationships, can feel just as threatening as a physical betrayal. Words from Furness's post-divorce statements, such as boundaries, values, and liberation, seem to point toward feelings of exclusion, of being replaced emotionally rather than physically. Psychologists often define emotional affairs as connections that cross invisible but significant lines, creating closeness that undermines the primary partnership. In this case, it's reported that Furness felt this shift deeply, especially as her once unshakable role in Jackman's life seemed to fade. Even Foster's glowing comments about Jackman in interviews, calling him a joy to work with and an incredible partner, began to raise eyebrows in the context of the growing emotional distance at home. Whether or not the connection crossed any traditional lines, the emotional fallout for Furness was very real. The perception of betrayal alone was enough to damage the trust between them, especially in a relationship so heavily defined by public affection and shared history. But the drama didn't stop with feelings. It bled into finances, and in a big way, Jackman, with a career spanning blockbuster hits, award-winning stage performances, and global endorsement deals, is estimated to have a net worth exceeding $180 million. And yet, despite all that wealth, he and Furness never signed a prenuptial agreement. What once seemed like a romantic gesture rooted in trust has now become a legal complication of epic proportions. Furness was not a passive bystander in Jackman's rise to stardom. When they met, she was the established actress, respected and successful, while he was still a drama school graduate with big dreams. Over the years, she reportedly set aside much of her career to support Jackman's. She took on the bulk of parenting duties for their 2 adopted children, relocated repeatedly for his work, and provided the emotional and logistical stability that allowed Jackman to chase and ultimately capture global fame. Now, with the marriage ending, Furness's role in that success has become a key point of contention. Sources claim she believes she's entitled to a substantial share of Jackman's wealth, not out of greed, but because her sacrifices were foundational to his success. For her, this isn't just a matter of money. It's a matter of fairness and recognition. The lack of a prenuptial agreement has reportedly slowed the divorce process. Negotiations have dragged on, with both sides struggling to agree on what Furness should receive. Insiders suggest the drawn-out financial battle is one reason the split, announced with surprising calm, has since spiraled into public speculation and private tension. Adding even more intrigue is Jackman's decision to return to his iconic role as Wolverine in Deadpool 3. Some speculate this isn't just about giving fans what they want. It's about securing a massive payday that could offset the financial blow of the divorce settlement. While unconfirmed, the theory highlights how deeply entwined personal and professional pressures have become in this unfolding drama. Ultimately, this divorce is more than a breakup. It's a complex, high-stakes unraveling of a shared life built over nearly 30 years. From emotional distance to financial disputes, the layers of tension suggest that the issues ran deeper than most fans could have imagined. And while the rumors about Jackman and Sutton Foster remain unproven, they underscore how even perceived intimacy outside a marriage can shake its foundation. For Furness, the damage may not have been about a singular betrayal, but about slowly realizing the person she once stood beside had begun turning elsewhere, emotionally, professionally, and possibly even spiritually. That realization, paired with a battle over money and legacy, has turned what once seemed like an unbreakable love story into one of the most closely watched celebrity splits in recent memory. The emotional and financial ripple effects continue to spread, not only through their personal lives but across the entertainment industry. And while both Jackman and Furness have kept many details private, the cracks are now visible, and the world is watching.
Reports are coming in. She avoided AMAs because she didn't want to deal with the thousands of questions about Blake Lively and Insider Spilled. She now has to go dark and go hide because Blake Lively has now thrusted all this in there. And as many are reporting, it seems it's her dad. Many people have taken what I've learned and pushed harder and are all assuming it was Taylor's dad who was the one who revealed that she was extorted by Blake's lawyers. And yeah, they don't want to deal with that right now. They're pissed at her. They don't want to deal with it. So Taylor's out there with Travis Kelce, living her life, taking a break, a much deserved break as he's prepping for the next season. They're just hanging out. There's rumors of an engagement, everything else. She's focusing on her life. She wants nothing to do with the Blake Lively drama. She's avoiding to stay out of the drama, stay out of Vegas, off the red carpets. It's all anyone wants to talk about, and Taylor's really tired of it. She's desperate to move on and does not want to keep dealing with it. After being unwittingly dragged into this, she's distancing herself from the friend. So again, all of this only reaffirming, and I don't know why the Swifties haven't turned yet. Swifties, she doesn't like Blake anymore. She's over Blake. She's in fact very mad at Blake. And I would argue you guys should be mad at Blake too because of the way Blake spoke about her friend. It's pretty damn gross. And when you go back to it, in a way, Hugh's using her too. They're all doing this for image control. It's all a manipulation. That's what Blake and Ryan are very good at riding the celebrity status to get these big moments. And they were using their dragon, if you will, to get the photo ops and bring that. And look, we're the all-star couple. We're the best. And what's so crazy is could have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling internet sleuths, including us included. If Blake had just not filed this lawsuit, if she had just dealt with the backlash, if she had just carried on and done what she did, it never would have gotten as bad as it's gotten. I bet you she still could have hung out with Taylor Swift. I bet you a lot of this wouldn't have fazed her as much as it now has because she went out there and with Ryan's benefit, trying to label Justin something that he's not. And I firmly believe it at this point with all the evidence and people I've spoken to. She did this to herself.
Are Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds simply standing by a friend? Or is there something more strategic unfolding behind the scenes? Ever since Hugh Jackman's high-profile split from Deborah Lee Furness hit headlines, whispers have grown louder suggesting that Hollywood's golden couple, Lively and Reynolds, may be playing a more calculated role in the unfolding drama. Jackman and Reynolds have shared a well-documented bromance over the past several years, complete with playful jabs on social media and collaborations on film sets. But now, with Jackman under public scrutiny, some are questioning whether this friendship is purely personal, or if it serves a broader purpose in the court of public opinion. Insiders claim that Reynolds and Lively have firmly aligned themselves with Jackman during his divorce, a move that hasn't gone unnoticed. The decision has reportedly caused waves in their tight-knit celebrity circle, with one ripple effect hitting none other than Taylor Swift. Known to be close friends with Lively and Reynolds, Swift has often shared the spotlight with the couple, appearing together at events and in highly publicized social moments. But lately, Swift's absence has raised eyebrows, most notably her unexpected no-show at the American Music Awards. While some chalked it up to scheduling conflicts, others now believe her absence was intentional, a quiet statement amid growing tension with Lively. Sources suggest Swift has taken a step back, frustrated by how Lively has handled her involvement in Jackman's increasingly messy split. The rumored fallout has sparked concern among fans who once saw this trio as unshakable. Why would Lively and Reynolds wade into something so publicly charged? Theories range from simple loyalty to deliberate PR strategy. In the entertainment industry, perception is power. Standing beside Jackman, still widely beloved despite his personal turmoil, could be a calculated effort to keep their brand attached to a fan-favorite figure. Critics point out that Lively and Reynolds have previously been accused of leveraging celebrity relationships to enhance their image, most notably with Swift herself. Could Jackman be the next chapter in that ongoing strategy? If so, it may have come at a cost. Insiders report that Swift is very mad at Lively over how things have unfolded, with claims that a more cautious approach could have preserved their friendship. Instead, the situation appears to have escalated, creating a domino effect through Hollywood's elite social circles. While none of the parties involved have spoken publicly, the tension is palpable and seemingly growing. In the end, what began as a divorce between two longtime spouses has transformed into something much larger. It's now a tangled web of shifting alliances, calculated moves, and fractured friendships. What's becoming clearer is that this isn't just about Hugh Jackman's marriage falling apart. It's about how closely intertwined image, loyalty, and power can be in the world of celebrity. And while many are caught in the whirlwind, one thing's certain: not everyone is going down quietly.
Friedman responded to this. This was a letter where they, it should be noted, this was anonymously sourced and they're just abusing us again. And this is categorically false, blah, 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 blah. There's no evidence. Meanwhile, it's not signed by Gottlieb. It's not signed, I swear by, this is false. It was signed by Ezra Hudson, a different lawyer, not from that firm, which was odd to me. It was a big red flag. Well, if you're going to come out so fiercely and deny it, maybe get the lawyer who's being accused to deny it themselves. Well, Brian was quick to point that out. In his response this morning that just dropped hot off the presses, we write in response to this letter to strike our motion to ask the court to strike my letter. The letter was submitted in response to Miss Lively's consolidated defendant, Miss Reynolds, together defense, on purporting to inform the court of their request to intervene in an action pending before a different federal court relating to a motion of Taylor Swift's company, Venable, to quash the subpoena served on them by my office. The premise of the motion is that I made a deliberate and shameless misinterpretation to the court and that the facts set forth in the May 14th letter are false and unfounded. That is not so. Attached here too, as Exhibit 1, is an affidavit executed under penalty of perjury, stating the factual basis for the statements set forth in my letter. Notably, the motion is not signed by Michael Gottlieb. I noticed that too, Brian Friedman, whose conduct gave rise to my office's influence on a subpoena to Taylor Swift's company, but instead by another attorney from a different firm representing Lively. The motion also faults the May 14th letter for being filed without support of any kind, much less anything under oath. This opposition supplies the sworn affidavit that Lively argues the letter lacked. Finally, and most notably, the motion claims that the facts set forth in the 14th letter are unequivocally and demonstrably false, yet is unsupported by any sworn declaration to that effect, much less from Mr. Gottlieb. So basically, he's like saying, well, okay, I just swore that this is all real. Let's hear it from you, Mr. Gottlieb. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. The motion further contends that the letter was improper because it does not seek any form of relief, is irrelevant to any motion currently pending before the court, so there's no legitimate purpose. Of course, the same could be said of the Lively's May 13th letter, which Lively claims to have submitted as a courtesy, in which she did not ask the court to take any action. The Lively defense claim the subpoena served on Taylor Swift seeks the Lively defendant's attorney's communication, including those of Michael Gottlieb, with no explanation as to how they could be relevant in this litigation. Given that Miss Lively herself admits in the letter that she did not ask the court to take any action, nor could she, given that the motion to quash the subpoena is pending there before a separate court, yada, 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 it is apparent the letter filled with the court besmirching the Wayfarer parties and their council. Our response was necessary. He's like, this is why I'm responding, because this is completely ridiculous. They're doing exactly what we're doing, which they are. This is all both of these parties. It's not just Justin's side. Blake's side is doing it too. They are both playing this in the press. And when Blake's team tries to play like, oh, we're better, we're not doing this, we're not making this a circus. Yeah, come on. Everybody in the industry is laughing at you, Blake and Ryan. You look ridiculous.
Deborah Lee Furness has weathered a storm of heartbreak, betrayal, and high-stakes financial disputes, all without resorting to finger-pointing or public mudslinging. While tabloids ran wild with rumors and scandal, Furness chose grace over spectacle. Rather than feeding the frenzy, she quietly stepped into her truth, reclaiming her narrative on her own terms. In an exclusive statement to the Daily Mail, Furness opened up with rare vulnerability. She didn't issue attacks or trade jabs. Instead, she offered a calm, candid reflection on the emotional toll of a 30-year marriage ending. Calling the experience traumatic, she acknowledged the deep scars left by betrayal, words that resonated powerfully, not just because of their honesty, but because of their restraint. Furness didn't dwell in bitterness. Instead, she hinted at finding strength beyond herself, crediting a higher power as her compass through the chaos. This wasn't a passing comment. It was a quiet declaration of inner fortitude. In an industry where personal crises often explode into performative drama, her approach stood out as rare and quietly revolutionary. While others embroiled in similar public breakups often weaponized press coverage, Furness chose stillness, clarity, and reflection. Fans and peers alike have taken notice. In contrast to the emotional affairs, whispered betrayals, and rumored PR tactics swirling around Hugh Jackman and his inner circle, including the increasingly visible involvement of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, Furness has emerged as a dignified figure. Her emphasis on values and boundaries in her statement wasn't just poetic. It subtly pointed to a relationship dynamic that may have neglected the principles she holds dear. And when she mentioned liberation and freedom, it became clear she saw the divorce not as a collapse, but as a turning point, an opportunity to rediscover herself beyond the role of Hugh Jackman's wife. It's a sharp contrast to the celebrity circus surrounding her ex-Jackman, now frequently seen in the company of Reynolds and Lively, appears to be leaning into the spotlight again. Spotted attending high-profile events with Taylor Swift and her boyfriend. For some, it looks like strategic image rehab, and critics have questioned whether Lively and Reynolds, Hollywood's so-called power couple, have aligned with Jackman more out of PR benefit than personal loyalty. Their apparent distancing from longtime friend Taylor Swift only adds fuel to that theory, especially after Swift's conspicuous absence from recent events. Insiders suggest tensions between Swift and Lively have reached a boiling point, with Swift very upset over how the couple handled their role in the unfolding drama. Meanwhile, Furness hasn't engaged in alliances or optics. She's remained steadfastly focused on healing, away from camera flashes and social climbing. Even as others scramble to secure headlines or dodge scandal, she's opted to reflect, rebuild, and reset. That choice alone sets her apart in a celebrity culture addicted to noise. Even as names like Sean Levy and Robin Lively are pulled into the narrative, caught between friendships and fame, Furness hasn't played the game. While Reynolds and Lively seemingly ride the coattails of Swift's stardom for promotional advantage, Furness has avoided even a hint of opportunism. Her silence has spoken volumes, especially when contrasted with the swirling narratives around Jackman's alleged emotional closeness to Broadway co-star Sutton Foster. The lack of a prenuptial agreement between Jackman and Furness has only complicated things further, with Jackman's net worth reportedly surpassing $180 million. Largely built during their marriage, financial negotiations have reportedly been intense. Furness, who stepped back from a successful acting career to support Jackman and raise their children, is said to feel justifiably entitled to a meaningful share of what they built together. Her role in his